What's the YouTube? Del here from Zephyr, and today I'm bringing you a live duel from locals. On the right, we've got myself with Enneacraft up against Dracotail, Dragon Maid. So we start off by activating Defissure. Straight away, this gives us a bit of a buffer against Droll and Lockbird, which is really, really important against this deck. And we do later on find out that our opponent did open up Droll and Lockbird. So we activate our first scale, reveal 3 at random. Now, these are all different, hence the randomization. Otherwise, you just reveal 3 of the same. With Defissure up in, it doesn't really have a negative effect that much against the Enneacrafts themselves. So now we're going to play the second scale, being the Tremoria, working our way into Reverth. The reason that we quite like Reverth is that it goes to the graveyard under Defissure, and it also gives you the ability to banish it and flip your Mar up during your opponent's turn, which books and then locks your opponent's monsters in their position. So we're kind of just paying our life points, working our way through certain kind of effects right now. So we've done yellow, blue, and green. Now we're going to do red as well. So that's our final search. We've taken ourselves off 3,600 damage. We're now revealing. So we've got I'm pretty sure we've got Pixia in the hand, which is target protection. Now we're just trying to get destruction protection. And I think if I remember rightly, annoyingly, he actually chose the one that I didn't want to see, which is the Leon. Highly tempted to cut the Leon, to be honest, and maybe put either Pixia or Tail up to 3. So we're going to start setting our cards. We're going to reveal the Mars, set 1. I think I've got 2 Mars in the hand at this point. I could be wrong. As we've got Enneacraft. Enneacraft is, I'm just contemplating like returning the scales to the hand. So I'm going to return 1 just to reveal it. And I was like, what one's the most effective for me? Right now, the Okanari deals with Grave and Banished, which I don't really need to worry about. And then the other one deals with like a non-target destruction, which I think could be quite useful. I also want to try and keep 1 in the hand where it's all possible. Like the Defissure is going to be putting in quite a lot of work right now to really, really help. I suppose the one thing I need to worry about is if they were to go into the Arthulion to try and target cards. But that's where the Pexia comes into play to give me that line of protection as well. So I think, and this is the one issue when you're trying to commentate like a couple of days after recording these duels. I definitely know one of the set cards is Mar. I can't remember what the other 2 is. I think one is a Paxia, and I can't remember what the last one is. I think one of the last ones is one of the little guys. But it looks like we're going to commit to the fusion summon here. Keeping in mind that another way that the Dracotail Dragon Maid can out the Dimension Fissure is with by chaining a Dracotail effect, or having a Dracotail effect and then chaining the Gulamel. So there's no point in going for the Arthulion because there's not really any targets to return. It's not worth the risk to try and target my cards in case I do have that Pixia. So normal summon the Lucaeus. Kind of the idea is go normal summon Lucaeus. Lucaeus effect is chain link 1. Any response, and at this point I kind of need to respond, otherwise the Gulamel then just tries to target to destroy. So on the summon of the Lucaeus, we'll use the effect of Reverth. So this will mean that it's no longer a when effect for the Gulamel to destroy. So now I'm just explaining that what's going to happen here is the Mara is going to flip face up. We resolve the chain. So we're resolving the chain of Reverth, flipping it face up, resolving the Lucaeus to grab access to thingy. And then on a new chain, as the Mar is mandatory, it goes chain link 1 Mar to put both the monsters face down. Chain link 2 will be Enneacraft to put the Mar into the spell and trap zone. And the reason for that, or into the scale, the reason for that is if we do go to the battle phase, at the end of the battle phase, I can use the Mar's effect to destroy. It's also flipped up a monster for me as well, so that means that the Okanari has got one counter on it as well. And I think we just scoops it up here. It just shows that there's Droll and Nibiru, which both are hand interactions that do nothing against Enneacrafts. So we're going into game 2 here. I go second this time. It's kind of the weakness for Enneacrafts. I mean, they don't really worry about Horn because they put all of the monsters face down. They don't even really worry about Sting, to be honest. I think the biggest one they need to worry about is Flame. Sting can still be slightly annoying because it does banish the Reverth from the graveyard. But at this moment in time here, we're just kind of, I don't think we open up any interactions. I think the interactions that I played for the Dracotails themselves was Vanity's Fiend in the side deck, main deck of Dimension Fissure. But honestly, I really should have been playing Retaliating Sea. I just completely forgot to put Retaliating Sea in. So in an environment where there's a lot of Dracotail, you can very easily play Retaliating Sea because apart from I can't remember if Retaliating Sea off the top of my head is monsters or cards. If it's cards, it kind of sucks a little bit. But it's still not like bad. I'm I'm just going to double check it now. Is it? Because I mean, Retaliating Sea would be really good in this matchup, and if it is just monsters, what is close face on the field? Any card. Okay, so it banishes all cards. I still think it's probably worth it because you only really lose reverse. But here we've got the Hieratic Seals, we've got the Gulamel, so they're just ways to making sure that the Dimension Fissure doesn't stick, which I can fully understand. Going for an Urgler, again, when you use Feymana, you can then non-target destroy, so it puts a bit of pressure onto the field, which is kind of important here. So, draw for turn. Probably it's a full loss for turn, to be fair. It's usually how this luck works. So we're going to reveal Tail in the hand. So Tail is the destruction protection. So if I think it's my Enneacraft spells and traps and my Enneacraft monsters can't be destroyed by card effect for the rest of the turn once it's flipped face up. And then anytime a card is sent to my opponent's graveyard or a monster is sent to my opponent's graveyard, they take 900 damage. So there's a little bit of a ticking clock or a bit of pressure on your opponent depending on how many scale counters you can get. I think if I remember rightly, actually, I opened up all big guys. I didn't see any little guys. So I did open up Dimension Fissure, and I think I also opened up the Fallen and the Virtuous here. But, you know, I think that's revealing Tail again. I'm pretty sure I set Mar. I think the first one I set was Mar on this one. So we're going to set another one. Tail should be pretty cool. We're going to activate the Dimension Fissure. There's no way my opponent lets that stick. If they've got a Flame, 100% they're activating the Flame. And it's kind of another way to try and make sure that my scale sticks if I want to be aiming for a search and depending on what I'm trying to search for in here. So he activates the Feymana in chain. Now keep in mind that Feymana is not an activation on the field, it's an activation in hand. So we're going to chain the Tail because obviously when Chain Link 1 was activation Dimension Fissure, Chain Link 2 was Feymana, Chain Link 3 is Gulamel, Chain Link 4 is Tail. So Tail will flip up. Chain Link 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Chain Link 5 is Hieratic Seals. So now it's like I probably should flip the Mar here. I can't think of why I wouldn't flip the Mar if I did set the Mar. I think that's the yeah, and there we go. So we're going to chain the Mar as well, which negates the Hieratic Seal. So you can see it's like up to Chain Link 5. The Dimension Fissure will still go because we're just resolving everything here. So Chain Link 5 is resolving the flip of Mar, negating and destroying the Hieratic Seal. Then Gulamel fizzles. Sorry, no, Gulamel doesn't fizzle, but I've now got the destruction protection. So now we're going to go mandatory. Chain Link 1 is the Enneacraft Mar, and then Chain Link 2 is the Hieratic Seals. It's a lot to go through, and then Chain Link 3, because they're both mandatory. I'm turn player, so mandatory Chain Link 1, mandatory Chain Link 2, and then our Fulion effect is going to target, I think they only use one in the hand. And then we also have Urgler on the new chain, but the Urgler has nothing to destroy on my side of the field, that is anyway. Yeah, it's kind of like, I think this was the issue, is that I only opened up all the big guys, which is really weird because I don't think I sided any of the little guys out in this particular matchup because I was like, all of the little guys are still really, really useful. So just kind of confirming exactly what's going to happen here. So we've got the Ketu, which is the follow-up of the next turn. Adding back the Lucaeus off the back of the Arfulion. So we've got like the resource management for the next time as well. Just really much kind of pushing and grabbing everything it needs. Going to be someone out of the parlor. And then this is what I remind is like, as we rewind to Chain Link 1, everything gets flipped face down. So that no matter what you've summoned off of the Hieratic Seal, it's not going to be able to activate its effect. They now can't change their battle position. Unfortunately, I can't change my Enneacraft battle positions, so that's not ideal. I think this is reverse, chain in flame, and then I chain the Fallen and the Virtuous, and the reason for that one is I destroy my own reverse. Like I know that flame is still there, so I destroy my own reverse, which means flame can't negate it, and I needed to shuffle the two big guys in, hoping to get little guys, and this is where it goes, like, in an ideal scenario, I get like 3 little guys, and I'm good to cook. In this, I think the first one I draw was like a Mulchomi Fulos, and the second one I draw was like another Reverf or an Enneanopolis. I do eventually show it to the camera as well, just so you can kind of confirm. And I'm like looking at this, and like the only thing I've got is I get to set a Fallen and a Virtuous off of this after the as we go to the end phase. And I'm like, even though they can't flip up our Fulion or Chamber, they still have a Ketu. They've got the Lucaeus, so normal summon Lucaeus. And I'm like, yeah, scoop it. I'm like, there's nothing I can really do here. And there you go. So it's a Fulos, a Reverf, and then a Enneanopolis, which just doesn't do anything for me. So I get to go first on this one, and this is where the dreaded thing happens. So you have to prioritize what you've got here. So I prioritize putting a proton down. So if my opponent does have a draw unlock bird, I can flip it up in response and get an additional search if I do get hit with a draw. I think Reverth is probably the most important one, because again, I want Reverth in the graveyard if I can get to a Mar. And that's kind of what I'm aiming to do here. So I feel like, I think my hand was, there was definitely a little scale. There was the draw. There was definitely a little scale. I chained the proton just to make sure I can get a guaranteed search on this one. So this is quite important. This is going to get me direct access. Now it is destroy a monster my opponent controls, which they don't control anyone. So technically, as I resolve this on a new chain, it would be chain link 1, the proton, because it's a mandatory effect. Just contemplating what I want to directly search here. Like, Mar is quite important to try and get the reverse for the kind of like the Book of Eclipse effect, I guess. So, but then I'm also like, well, the Paxia could be quite useful as well if they try to target my stuff. Unbeknownst to me, so we're going to use the Enneacraft in the Enneacraft to recycle the proton. We're going to use the protons effect, set 1. And then I think, I wouldn't say I get greedy here. I kind of just don't respect a certain card that I should have been well aware of. So we're going to go for the proton again. Set this one. I think off the reverse, I actually drew a Guardian, a Quackimiru Guardian, which is really annoying because if I had the Quackimiru Guardian at the start, I could have normal summoned it and then gone. And then he just goes main phase, battle phase, end of battle phase. I was like, ugh, like Evenly's gonna absolutely destroy me here. I probably should, I got rid of the Mar, and I got rid of the Mar, and I probably should have kept the Mar. I kept the Pexia. I can't remember the exact reason why I kept the Pexia. I think it was more so that if they did go for Arfulion, I would have the target I would be able to protect, but I would have to reverse to flip it up early. So Feymaner's effect here. This is where, obviously, they don't summon anything. So what I should have done is done the reverse on the normal summon of Lochias, and then he goes into Shu instead, which makes it very difficult. And it means my reverse can be negated. It also means that if the Pexia tries to respond to flip itself face up, it gets negated. And prior to that, it really wouldn't have mattered because, so he got Pan as well. Pan destroys the Pexia. Yeah, it just doesn't really do a huge amount more from here. Like, getting hit with Droll is a little bit painful, but I had enough to try. Like, I tried to navigate around with it with what I had in the hand at that exact moment in time. But then getting hit with an Evenly just blows it out. And then when you're able to, you know, whatever you really have in your hand, as long as you have a Dracotail starter, you're able to build up from that point on. And really, there's not going to be any card in my hand that's really gonna do anything for me. Anyway, so I scoop it up from that point on. There's not really a lot more that I can kind of do. I kind of call it quits on that one, but decent duel back and forth. It kind of shows that it can go a little bit toe-to-toe with Dracotail, depending on what it has. I just got hit by two of the weakest cards. Like, the weakest card for Enneacraft going first is getting hit with a Draw and Lockbear with no way of stopping it. And then going second, getting hit with an Evening Match is also quite damaging. Even Dusters and Lightning Storms could be quite annoying if you are sitting on stuff like Soul and Luna, and if you're sitting on stuff like the trap card. Can't remember the exact trap card off the top of my head. Daruma Cannon. There we go. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Do like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.